Hi, this is Renee, and this is podcast number 11, which is right after number 10.
Welcome to the ITeachBlogging.com blogcast. Your host, Renee Grosskreutz, talks blog all day long and shares it all. No secrets here to help you become a successful blogger. Listen at the end of today's blogcast on how to get your free PDF of Renee's booklet, Tips on Blogging for Business. Now, here's Renee.
In this episode, we will recap a tip from the last podcast, a quick SEO tip, and then we are going to get down to it with a conversation about 5 things you can do right now to promote your blog on Twitter. Tip from the last podcast, podcast number 10, the flu and blogging don't mix. I did the get started stupid fast method with my podcast. I broke all of the rules. Seriously, all of them. I had good intentions of pre-recording at least several podcasts, but just hadn't gotten around to it yet. I just hadn't done it. I was keeping my schedule and all was going well, and then bam, I got super stupid crazy sick. I got freaking the flu, I got bronchitis, I got a stomach bug, I got it all. Let me just tell you, I was in bed for 10 days. In bed, people. There's a reason that I preach the importance of having a backlog for your blog or podcast. It is just for such reasons as this one. So don't do what I did. Plan ahead, and then you can be okay with being sick. So here's your SEO tip for the day. Don't practice and link exchanges. Links are critical for SEO. They tell the search engines how valuable a site is to people because the more links the site gets, the better it is, in theory. That's my layman version of it anyway. However, it is not that simple. There was a time when there was these things called link farms. You remember those? And you could buy links from websites and it worked great. Everything was wonderful. And then the search engines caught on. That kind of stuff is cheating. If you think about it, seriously, if you have to pay someone to link to you, then something is wrong. So those have all but been shut down. Then the next thing to come along is link exchanges. On the surface, these sound so innocent enough, but it is still cheating. It makes me think of some kind of back alley gambling game. I'm not exactly sure why, but I have these visions of people sitting around exchanging slips of paper with URLs on it and saying, okay, I'll give you 2 links if you give me 1 this time, but next time. Here's the deal. Write good content. It really just comes down to that. And people will find it and they will link to it naturally. It just is that simple. If you participate in link exchanges, it will eventually catch up with you. It is tempting to sit around with a group of friends and try this game, but just don't do it. Instead, check out a friend's blog and find a real, legitimate reason to link to them. And if it turns out that their content is just not relevant to your content, then promote them on social media. Then maybe someone who can add a value link will. Now, that's really just, I know it sounds simple, but it really is simple, and I don't oversimplify the idea of just writing good content because we all know that's really hard. But just don't cheat. That's my message for you today. Now, let's get down to it with 5 things you can do right now to promote your blog on Twitter. Writing a blog is only part of the blogging journal. The other part is finding readers to read it, and frankly, that can be the most difficult part of all, at least at first. As a blogger, you have jobs beyond writing, and one of those is connecting with people who may be interested in reading your blog. This is why, as a blogger, I'm so grateful for the free social media tools out there, and we're going to go over 5 tips on how to promote your blog on Twitter. Number 1, make your profile an attention getter. Your Twitter profile is often the first thing that people see, so put it to work and update it often. Don't overdo hashtags in your profile. Use the URL of the most popular or relevant post if you want. Use clever writing. Here's a beginner's tip. To make changes, you will need to log into your Twitter account and go to Settings Profile. If you're a member of the iTeachers Blogging's Blogger Mafia, then log into the Twitter 101 section and learn from there. But the Twitter profile, let's just clarify real quick here, is the text that people see about you on Twitter. So just make it valuable. I recently did this tip myself and changed my Twitter profile link from iteachblogging.com to iteachblogging.com/blogging. That's my blog URL. My front page is more just about, if you want to hire me from speaking or all the other things that I have going on. So that was the first thing I did. Tip number 2, make your direct messages, DMs, valuable, and engaging. Set up an auto direct message that asks followers to let you know what they think of your blog. It is common to receive an auto DM yawn that says something along the lines of, like me on Facebook, or stop by my website. Yawn. But asking questions and requesting feedback is always more engaging than making demands. So let's do things like, what do you think of my color palette that I just chose for my new blog design? Be specific. Ask a real question that somebody can answer. In the beginning of Twitter and the early days, back in, 2009, when all this first got started, you could put out a direct message to people that said things like, hey, go check out my, let's connect on Facebook. But now everybody says it, and it's just useless information. Now I'm going to tell you, there are two tools that you can use for auto direct messages if you're not familiar with them. They both serve great purposes. One of them is Social Umph, and the other is Tweet Adder. I will link to both of these with a little information about both in the show notes. But Social Umph, I use this one for automatic direct messages to my followers. The goal with an auto direct message is to offer value and not be annoying. Don't forget that. So when somebody new follows me and I follow them back, they get an auto direct message that says whatever it is I want them to say. Tweet Adder is another great tool. Now, this tool has gone through a lot of evolution since the days of Twitter. But what this tool does is still does some really good things. It's a little pricey, but it's worth it in my opinion. You can send strategic direct messages, okay? So these are private messages to your followers, not just the new ones, but to all of them. And this is a great way to promote a special event, a discount, some big news, or any changes. So, for example, I'm going to use Tweet Adder to send out somebody to alert to everybody about my new blog platform. So there you go. So that's what I'm going to do. Number 3, search hashtags on your blog theme. Now, when I say blog theme, I don't mean, like I use thesis theme. I don't mean Genesis theme, thesis theme. I mean, what is your theme topic, okay? The main reason that you're blogging is to help solve a problem or provide a point of view, right? So, don't be shy about jumping into a conversation on Twitter. Do a Twitter search on your blog theme topic and see who else is talking about it. If you find someone asking a question or talking about a topic that one of your blog posts can answer, link them to it. Or take the opportunity to write a blog post that answers that specific question. You've been helpful. You've done the work already. So now this is a win-win. Somebody's looking for an answer. You have the answer, so share it with them. Number 4, ask for help. This is important. There are people on Twitter, before I even get into this, I'm going to say there are people on Twitter that are called Twitter influencers. These are people who have a high number of followers. You can define a high number of followers however you want. I would say somebody that has 1,000 or more is a high number of followers. You're going to find people that have 100,000 followers. They're probably going to be a little bit harder to reach. So find Twitter influencers that you respect and admire and engage with them and ask them to share your blog through Twitter. They may not do it, but it never hurts to ask on the rare occasion. But I want to say here, and this is important, you should already be promoting their stuff. Because there's no incentive for somebody that's an influencer to promote you if you're not already promoting them. So you need to be engaged. You need to have respect for them on Twitter. You need to be promoting their stuff already. And then, like once a quarter or so, say, hey, listen, would you mind just sending out a tweet promoting my blog for me? I would really appreciate it because I think that your Twitter followers would really value from what I have to say. So just ask for help. Number 5, be direct and beg. Nicely, of course. Ask people directly to read your blog post. If you've just released a new blog post, mention someone to ask their opinion of the post. For example, I did one here. Hey, Fun City Awesome, what do you think of my blog post? Be ready to fail at blogging. Podcast number 9. Here's the link. I would love your thoughts. Here's what I did. I took the moment to stop, focus on a single person. I didn't just do a generic broadcast message. I chose someone, and I said, hey, here's a blog post that I just wrote about a podcast that I just did. I would really love to know what you think about it. When you ask somebody a specific question, first of all, people are opinionated. They love to tell you. They really do. But second of all, you cared enough to send something directly to them. And this is a public, by the way. This is an ad. This is not a direct message because remember, direct messages are private. But this is a public message, and you're asking somebody a specific question. They're far more likely to respond. So these are just a few quick ideas on how to promote your blog on Twitter. I would love to hear your ideas. So send me a message. Let me know what you think. In the meantime, blog on. Thank you for listening to iteachblogging.com blogcast with me, Renee Grosskreutz. Visit iteachblogging.com/show notes. I will have the PDF download for you at that link, along with useful links that we talked about today. Go forth and blog.